Hi folks, it's the driving debrief for the 19th of October, a Thursday. The main thing we focused on today was the weird manoeuvre, which is pulling out in front of traffic and then reversing. What do you call it? The right side of the road reverse in 2 car lengths thing. This time when it says 2 car lengths, it's not as strict as the parallel parking. You can keep going back quite far. You don't have to leave one single car gap between you and the target car. In fact, the way we did it today, there was no target car to back away from. There was nothing in front of us, basically. We just pulled inside the road. First of all, this day was a lot better in general. All the things leading up to the new manoeuvre and all the things after the new manoeuvre. I handled the gears a lot better. I think I did stall once, and I did come off the clutch a couple of times too fast. But all in all, most of the junctions I did a lot better. It was a more positive experience, and I could do we did a lot of junctions. We did a bunch of roundabouts, and they all seemed to be okay. There was just niggling things here and there, like, what is the traffic on the left trying to do? How do you figure it out while you're sliding forward, and stuff like that. But it's getting easier. He wants me to do roundabouts at a more advanced stage now, which is when you're approaching a roundabout, say in third, you have to approach it in second, but he doesn't want me to just change to second before you reach the roundabout. He wants me to change to second almost at the junction, and then change to first at the junction, like really fast, and indicate at the junction. One thing he pointed out to me was when we were leaving the Drake roundabout to go to the Spa roundabout, which is a very short gap in between, there was a parked truck on the left that we had to go around, and we were indicating left to leave the Spa roundabout when we got there. I indicated before we got to the parked truck, and we had to steer right to go around it. And he says, don't do that. He turned off the indicator, and then he says, now indicate now around the truck to indicate left. And once we got a chance to stop off and figure out, like, what was going on back there, he said, well, you were steering right, but you were indicating left, and you must never steer right and indicate left, even if it's kind of obvious to you that there's nowhere on the right you would be going if you were steering right around a vehicle. Like, no one could mistake you turning off to the right. But he said, like, there are people who don't understand what you're doing. They might think that you're indicating left before the truck because you're going to pull in on the left. They might think you're going to indicate left before the truck because there's a driveway that they can't see. I mean, I could see that there was no driveway there before the truck, but he was saying people behind you think weird things, especially if they haven't been there before. So they might have just thought that I was doing one of those things, and a motorcyclist could have thought that and decided to overtake on the right. You're not meant to overtake at junctions, I think, the highway code and the theory test told me, but he thought that would happen, or could happen, if you indicated left when steering right to go around a vehicle parked in front of the junction. So I have to not indicate left until I'm definitely planning on steering left, and not indicate right until I'm definitely planning on steering right. Like, no indicate right and then veer slightly to the left or anything. So that's something I've got to drill into my head today. We went a different route today. We went a couple of different routes. First of all, we went into the wharf car parking, which was quieter today so we could get in and all the Goosey Fair shit had gone. So he got me to do a reverse right bay parking at the end of that. We did it like 3 times, and the one new thing I learnt there, well, the 2 new things I learnt, one is that my reference from the first time I did it was completely wrong. So I've got a couple of diagrams here. I don't know if they'll pick up well on camera. This one is the reverse bay park left, which we didn't do. This one's the reverse bay park right, which we did do. This one here is the forward bay park right, and this one's the forward bay park left, with little diagrams, little drawings I've done, little illustrations of what the reference is meant to be. I've had to edit this reference, you can see, in darker pen. It started off in biro, now it's in black ink. So I thought the reference that you could see two diagonal lines side by side, diagonal, when you looked out of that window there, and that was the point at which you turned. Turns out that's completely wrong, and it's your window out there has to frame in it one entire white line, which is the white line that's going to end on the left when you finish your maneuver. You've got to see that, and then it's got to start feeding into your window that way, and that's when you turn full lock right and keep reversing back. And then of course you check your blind spot mirrors. The second thing that I've learnt about the bay parking is that I was relying on the reversing camera. In fact, I should probably write this down actually. Yeah, I'll write this down. I was relying on the reversing camera thing. I didn't want to rely on that. It's like a rear view camera for reversing and parking. I asked him, is there a way I can do this without relying on that? And he says, well, yeah, you should be looking over your shoulder through the boot, through the middle back window. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't do that at all. I did it a little bit at the start when I did a full all-around sweep. But yeah, once you pull backwards, then you start to turn once you got your reference point, and then you look in your left blind spot mirror for the first sign of the line, and then the right blind spot mirror for the other line that comes the other side of you. And then you keep turning to that point, and when those get parallel, then you straighten up and go back, and it's at that point where I need to check out the back window if I don't want to use a reversing camera, which I probably won't have. So I have to do that at that point and keep going back. And then you can kind of judge when you're super close to the wall. It seems kind of obvious when you're too close, so you just stop at that point. And hopefully I never press gas instead of brake, because I would probably fuck up then. But yeah, hopefully my foot is over the brake when I do that manoeuvre and I never straight to the gas, because Jesus Christ. But I guess the clutch can go down and, well, it'd keep rolling, wouldn't it? So that would cut out the accelerator, but it'd keep rolling if I did that. But yeah, hopefully I never do that. Anyway, I'm just going to write that note down that I've just said to you on my notes and then get back to you. So after that we went off to some obscure housing estate. I'm not sure I've been to it before actually. After the Spa roundabout in Tavistock, you go left up the hill. There were some temporary traffic lights up there blocking us. I thought we'd have to go through them up that road, but he said turn immediately right, and we went into this housing estate that's a bit like a circuit kind of loophole. There's a junction to the right. You do a kind of, it might be a square or it might be a triangle. Another junction that's completely unmarked, and for some reason I was justified too much to the right while going over that unmarked junction when I should have been on the left. And then it rejoins the road down there. I think that's where we did the manoeuvre. We might have done it there, or we might have done it up Deer Park Lane, come to think of it. Anyway, so this is the manoeuvre called, I don't know what it's called actually, it's pull up on the right side of the road and reverse. It's very wordy, I'm not sure what the short version of the name is. But yeah, it's a weird manoeuvre because it's very dangerous. Tony and apparently lots of other instructors agree that it is a dumb, pointless manoeuvre. No one should be doing it. It's dangerous because you're going into oncoming traffic. You're going onto the wrong side of the road, which is the right side of the road, if you know what I mean. On your right is the wrong side of the road to be on. You're meant to be driving on the left. But you've got to cross onto the right in front of cars that are coming your way, and then park up on the right, behind either a target car or, how we did it, just a target area. There's nothing there. Just stop in that place and then reverse back. So he said, don't ever use this manoeuvre after your test. This is just to pass the test because they have this manoeuvre on the test. It doesn't make sense. They removed the 3-point turn on the test, which is better. It puts you on the correct side of the road if you want to get into a space that's on the right. And they removed the reverse into a side road and come back manoeuvre, which would say it served the same purpose if they kept it. Instead, they've kept this weird manoeuvre, which is pointless and you shouldn't be driving with it anyway. So Tony says, don't use this after your test. We're just using it to pass the test. If you use it in general driving, there's a risk that conditions like heavy rain or just your headlights being on can blind oncoming traffic if you pull out in front of them onto their road facing them. It's like you're playing chicken with them or something. You're going jousting head-on, collision style. And if your headlights are facing that way, especially if you're facing uphill, the oncoming traffic might just hit you head-on. So it's terrible. But you've got to pass your test with it. So touching the curb is a fail. I keep touching the curb in lots of the stuff I do, so I'm still getting the hang of where the curb is. I didn't do it this time though. I got awfully close, but I didn't touch it. You have to choose the place. On the actual test, the examiner will go, choose a place to do this where it's like safe. So you're meant to avoid like doing it near junctions, and you're meant to avoid doing it near dips, lots of dips in the curves, which are people's driveways. So you've got to find a finish point which is raised curb. So you've got to kind of choose the place to do it sometime after the examiner mentions it to you. Drive slowly, preferably in first gear. I've got a little diagram of it here, A to D. I've got A, B, C, D there, so you can see kind of what I'm doing. At point A, you're going down the road. Let's say there's a target car that you're going to stop behind and do the reverse. So you're going down the road on the left side. On the right side, up ahead, preferably straight road, is a parked car. Examiner, I say, could you move in behind that parked red car there and reverse within 2 car lengths on the right side of the road. So you have to slow down to a crawl in first gear, check there's no oncoming traffic. That's the main thing. You don't really want to do it at all if there's oncoming traffic. You want to wait for them to go and wait for a clear moment. Well, before you start pulling in, you check all around you briefly, your mirrors and stuff, you signal right, and then once that's clear, you've got to get to the other side of the road as early as possible. You drift over early, like I said, to the wrong right side of the road. I did it a little bit late, so I was going forward and then I kind of twisted in an S to get to the pavement. Tony said that was wrong. You kind of just got to head straight over there from where you are in like a long line. So you're in the middle, crossing the middle lines for a longer period of time, if you know what I mean, going diagonal. And you draw in carefully, parallel to the pavement. Try and use your right blind spot mirror to stay away from the pavement, but sort of a drain's width from it. You don't have to be super close to the pavement. I don't think the examiner will have a go at you if you're a little bit too far out from the pavement. This is a tough bit for me because I hit the curb quite a lot. I mean, I don't hit it. I touch it slightly and drift along sometimes. Get too close to it. So you pull in behind the target car or the target blank area, whatever, and stop. Now you're meant to do an all-around check like you do after you've just done the emergency stop. So you want to look that mirror, you want to look that mirror, you want to look that mirror, you want to look that blind spot, you want to look that blind spot, and you especially want to look out your boot, your rear window. So you got to do that like 2 or 3 times, I think. But you're meant to look around constantly, so it pays to go very slowly, I think. But you're not doing much. You're not really meant to be. The only steering you'd need to do is if you think you're too far from the pavement, you turn the wheel slightly to the right, go in a bit, and then turn to the left to straighten up, or steer away from the pavement, depending on what you're doing. Yeah, so you stop in front of the target car, handbrake or P-brake, as I have, on, neutral gear, off the pedals, 360 look around. You stay there for a good moment just to make sure you can see everything. No pedestrians, no cats, because they do this in residential areas mainly, I think. And then you do reverse gear, which is like first gear, but you pull up on the stick and you go even further. If you drift forward, the P-brake will unapply itself, which is really annoying, so got to keep that in mind. So you've also got to think about whether you're on a hill, I think. You might be able to do this often on the brake, but I was doing it on the biting point. Just coming up to the biting point and you're going backwards, all around check, go backwards a bit. Right hand blind spot mirror check, try and see where the pavement is, see if you're drifting or not. Go backwards further, all around check. Back boot check. Check that mirror. Are you drifting away from the pavement? And then by that time, I think you should stop. You've probably done a car's width by that point, but you can go further than the two cars' width. It's not like the parallel park where you have to finish within the two cars' width, as in leave one car gap between you and the target car. It's not as strict as that. You could keep reversing and then the examiner could go, okay, stop, and you wouldn't fail your test, apparently. You just keep reversing. Yeah, and then part of this maneuver is the ability to move away, because moving away from the dangerous side of the road, that's still, you know, dangerous. There's still oncoming traffic. You're still on the wrong side of the road, facing the wrong way. Cars are coming towards you, right in front of you where you're not meant to be, sort of thing. So you've got to wait till that's all clear. You've got to do all your checks. The examiner will go, drive off when you're ready, and you've got to make sure there's no cars in front of you coming. You know, check your left blind spot and left mirror, indicate left, and provided it's clear, pull out to your side of the road as soon as possible, so you're on the left side of the road, in the right place, going the right direction, no oncoming traffic. It's a little more complicated than I thought it was at first glance from watching video tutorials, but it's easier than the parallel park, and I need more experience bay parking. So after this lesson, which went pretty well, I was quite happy with it. Tony was quite chatty. He was saying, oh, I get to go in Launceston next week to pick up my cat mug. I was like, what? He said, they've released a new cat mug. I was like, are you a collector of cat mugs? He's like, no, but it's good to have a few knocking around the house. And there's a new one out now. It's like he's looking for the release date of things, but it's a mug with a cat's face on it. Anyway, when we got back home, he said, do you want to do Launceston next week? Which is a town in the northwest from here. In Cornwall, actually, I think. I've got a video on my channel of me exploring Launceston Castle. If you're interested, go check that out. On the first channel, because I have to remind myself I'm on the second channel right now. Yeah, so I'm nearing the end of... actually, next Tuesday will be the last two in the block of 10 lessons I've recently paid for. A block of 10 hours. It sneaks up on you really fast. It's like, oh my god. And it's like £390 for a block of 10 hours. Now, I've done 2 of those so far with him. And then I've done a couple lessons with Sean as well. So the money is mounting up. I hope we get nearer doing more of the complex stuff now. He said at some point we'll go into Plymouth and do some city driving. But he said it's best to do my test in Launceston. So we need to get out there. He says it takes like 30 minutes to drive to Launceston. We got an hour in Launceston and then 30 minutes to drive back. I think next Tuesday, though, we'll be finishing the manoeuvres. We haven't done 3-point turn, which is turning the road, although I've done that in 2009. And we haven't done reverse backwards around a corner. So I think that's what we'll be doing on Tuesday next. And then on Thursday next, we'll go into Launceston. We'll see what driving around a new town is like. That would be interesting. I don't know if we're going on any dual carriageways to get there or anything. It depends which way we go. I don't think there are any if you drive a straightforward way down the old 838. I might be misremembering the name of that road, but yeah. Comes off of Sowerton Cross and goes to Launceston. Yeah, that's all for today. That was today's lesson. A lot less stressy today and a lot more fun. And I got a lot more things right, so that's cool. Thank you for watching.
What the fuck are you supposed to be, man?
I'm your passenger. Drive.
All this happy horse shit. Hey, Timber! Oh, shit. What the fuck's the matter with you? Stupid ass hair? You hit my car! What do you want, man? Money? Drugs? I got it. I can use you. You did Tintin. This is business, right?
Faster.
Got that cream stuff.
What in the crap? Oh, look. Making us popular. When they flash us like that, they ain't friends. something personal, amigo. We can work it out, right?